Hi, welcome to my channel and please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Today I'll bring a topic about why maritime focus is vital for Vietnam's security. Geography influences the strategic choices of all countries, but Vietnam is an interesting case of a swing state in comparative grand strategy terms. The country occupies the eastern part of the Indo-Chinese peninsula with an elongated coastline of 3,260 kilometers facing the South China Sea. Vietnam also sits unambiguously in continental Asia, sharing 1,300-kilometer border with China, as well as abutting Cambodia and Laos. This duality in Vietnam's situation, straddling Southeast Asia geostrategic fault line, gives it unusual flexibility to develop a continental or maritime orientation, despite a strong landwards pull in Vietnam's history. Hanoi has laterally and perhaps decisively adopted a maritime course, though the country's grand strategy remains dynamic and is actively debated among observers. In the second half of the 20th century, Vietnam's communist leadership was absorbed by the anti-colonial struggle and national unification. The long wars against French and then the United States, when Hanoi's ideological and material allies were the Soviet Union and China to a lesser extent. It encouraged a continental disposition. Coastal supply routes were important to sustaining Hanoi's Revolutionary War effort in South Vietnam. But the main axis of supply ran overland through Laos and also Cambodia, along with the Ho Chi Minh Trail. North Vietnam's armed forces lacked the means to contest U.S. sea control in the South China Sea. China forcibly expelled South Vietnamese forces from the Paracel Islands in 1974, though Hanoi maintained Saigon's claim. After reunification in 1975, Vietnam's border conflict with China in 1979 and prolonged military intervention in Cambodia throughout the 1980s ensured that Hanoi was preoccupied by land-based threats for the remainder of the Cold War. With the exception of a brief clash with China in the Spratly Island in 1988. In the 21st century, however, Vietnam has transformed into an export-oriented economy that depends upon freedom of navigation in the South China Sea and also beyond to deliver its prosperity. This has influenced its threat perceptions. The majority of Vietnam's population and infrastructure is concentrated on the coast, making it vulnerable to attack from the sea. Vietnam has to defend and police the oil, gas, and fish within its exclusive economy zone, as well as its territorial claims in the Spratly Islands. If in the future China is able to exert uncontested control within the so-called Nine-Dash Line, and also acquires access to a naval base in Cambodia, Vietnam could find itself encircled and vulnerable to blockade. Once access to a seaborne trade is denied, Vietnam would suffer immediately and grievously. The move forwards or towards to a maritime strategy is evidenced by changes to Vietnam's defense capability. Despite the effects of the 2008 global financial crisis, Vietnam doubled its defense expenditure between 2006 and 2010. From 2009, it began acquiring 6 Russian Kilo-class submarines armed with the anti-ship and land attack. Club supersonic cruise missiles capsule are capable of hitting China. The modernization of the Vietnam People's Navy was officially declared a priority at the 11th National Party Congress in 2011. Also in 2019, Defense White Paper put a seal on the Vietnam's strategic reorientation by officially identifying it as a maritime nation. Vietnam is unlikely to prevail in a serious maritime conflict with China, but it has made significant investments to raise the costs of the aggressions. Despite these trends, it has been argued recently that Vietnam should look west for its survival and also refocus its strategic attention from the maritime domain to its land borders because the balance of power on land works more in Vietnam's favor. According to this line of argument, Hanoi has little long-term hope of defending its maritime claims in the South China Sea due to the growing power disparity between China and Vietnam. But the strategic situation on land is less severe than it might first appear. In reality, a binary continental versus the maritime dilemma is somewhat artificial. Vietnam will continue to look landwards for its security and to some extent for its prosperity too. Hanoi cannot overlook the possibility of the invasion or incursions across its land borders. It is also the case that Vietnam's armed forces remain army-dominated for historical reasons. However, China and Vietnam signed a border treaty in December 1999, which was ratified in 2000. The two sides completed border demarcation in 2009. Although China has a dominant economic profile and also significant political influence in both Cambodia and Laos, Vietnam's Southeast Asian neighbors remain sovereign states and are unlikely to allow the People's Liberation Army to launch attacks on the Vietnam from their territory. So, even if Phnom Penh and Vientiane agreed to host PLA ground and air forces invading Vietnam would be prohibitively expansive, as demonstrated by Russia's war in Ukraine and indeed China's costly invasion of the northern Vietnam 40 years ago. So thank you for watching and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.